Are you ready for the release of the 1950 census? I don't mean are you just anticipating the release, but is your genealogy research ready for the release of that 1950 census? Hi, I'm Lisa Lisson, the author and creator of Are You My Cousin, where I strive to take the overwhelm out of your genealogy research. I share tips, tricks, and strategies for your genealogy research over on the blog. Hope you can join me there. Let's talk about that 1950 census. Census records are the backbone of genealogy research. It's where most of us start, right? Who doesn't get a thrill out of tracking that ancestor back decade by decade? Well, in 2022, genealogy researchers are especially fortunate. In January of 2022, the census of the 1921 census for England and Wales was released over on Find My Past. It was a great opportunity for those of us researching English ancestors, English and Welsh ancestors, I should say, to start to find them in that 1921 census. But fast forward just a little bit to April 2022, and the 1950 census for the United States is being released. The release of these two census records allows us as researchers to actually research ancestors and find new leads to our research on both sides of the ocean. So what can you do to make sure that your genealogy research is ready for that release of the 1950 census? Because it's coming in April 1st, 2022. I've got 5 things for you that you can do to make sure that your genealogy research is in tip-top shape for you to be able to start your research in that 1950 census as soon as you can get your hands on it. Number 1, create a list of who you are going to look for in that 1950 census. Are you looking for your parents? Are you looking for aunts, uncles? Are you looking for yourself? Make that list. Yes, you know me, I'm all about a plan. So create that plan that you want to have so that you don't miss searching for anyone special in that 1950 census when it comes out. Just remember, don't get so hung up on what the plan looks like as much as the fact that you actually write it down. You can simply write your plan, your list of people you want to look for, and any information you want to remember about them on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be super fancy. You just need to think through the process. Number 2, review the questions that the census takers were asking the households ahead of time. Now, I'll put a link in the comments to the National Archives site where you can actually see a blank copy of the 1950 census as well as a complete listing of all of the questions that they asked. And those correspond obviously with the column headings at the top of the census. But knowing what was being asked for ahead of time ensures that you can start to interpret the information correctly as soon as you're able to start researching. Number 3, remember to check and see if your ancestor was one of these 6 individuals who was asked more questions. So in the 1940 census, if you remember, we would find that line of 2 individuals from each page that had been pulled out, and you would learn a little bit more information about them. They had more detail about them. Well, in the 1950 census, we actually get 6. So we have 6 individuals out of that page, and that's obviously a huge opportunity for us as researchers, and everybody's fingers are crossed that our ancestors are in those 6 so that we can learn even more about them. Number 4, review the instructions that were given to the enumerators, that were given to those census takers. Do you ever wonder what they were supposed to do if somebody wasn't home when they knocked on the door? How are enumerators supposed to count college students who were living away from home and not part of their regular household? Or what about sailors? Were visitors in the household to be included in that count? Now, I asked that, and typically the answer is no here in the US, but for that 1921 census over in England, yes, they were counted. So it's important that we understand who was and who was not being counted for the census. Now, I'll put a link down in the description below to the Enumerators Manual that you can read online. It's really fascinating reading to really see what it was they were being asked to do, what their specific directions were, and how they were to perform their duties. Number 5, head over to Family Search, where you can sign up for updates on the 1950 census and how you can volunteer and participate in creating that accurate index for the 1950 census. It's a fabulous volunteer opportunity, and I don't want you to miss out. I'll have the link for that in the description below as well. And by the way, here's a fun fact about the 1950 census. It was the last census for the U.S. where enumerators went door to door. After that, it was sent out to individual households. To learn more about using census records for your genealogy research, check out the videos appearing now on your screen. And if you're struggling with your own genealogy research or just want an extra pair of eyes on your research, head over and check out my Genealogy Coach for a Day program.